Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of kcards Baseball. Thanks for joining me this evening. Hopefully you all are doing wonderful out there. I am dressed up in my Minnesota Wild garb. I did go to the Minnesota Wild game tonight. The Wild won in overtime 8-7. Pretty crazy game tonight. Tonight on the channel we're going to do something a little bit different. I've had several questions lately from subscribers regarding the pictures I have in the background on the wall in the back, as well as some of these cards back there. Forget about the TV set that's right there, but several of the cards there, and they want me to do a little tour of my card room. So I thought I would do that tonight for something a little bit different. I have made several changes lately to the card room, so I thought I would give you guys a quick peek at what is happening here. So without further ado, let's take a little quick tour of my card room. But before we get into it, I thought I'd let you know it's not exactly the most tidy or the most clean. It is a work in progress. We're working on it, so forgive a little bit of the mess. But anyways, let's go ahead and do a tour of the kcards card room. So we'll kind of take a quick tour going left to right around the room. First up is the card closet. I do have some shelves there that I'm actually going to install in the closet here so I can get the cards up off the ground a little bit. But the top shelf is all 800 count boxes, some 600 count boxes, and then some folders. I used to have some of my cards in those folders, but these binders are now all empty. I took all my cards out of those binders because I just didn't like them in there. They weren't exactly in the best of shape. Other than this binder of Donruss 81, I think that is still full of cards, and it is a complete set of Donruss 81 baseball that's in there. Some of the other stuff I have in there, there's some Beckett magazines. I still do actually get Beckett magazine on a monthly basis, and then there's some cards, a box of cards there that I'm saving up for the end of year video. So I just occasionally will buy a box and toss it in there, as well as some receipts and that type of thing. So that's just basically the card closet. This is all stuff that I need to still organize and work on. So that will be a work in progress for quite some time to come. As far as the card room in general, I know it looks a little bit messy, but it is kind of a method of my madness. Let's put it that way. For example, as far as this desk right here, this is actually my shipping desk. These are all cards that I'm currently working on sorting. So you can see some 2024 cards. There's my 2023 cards that I've opened recently, and then some doubles, and this is my complete sets, or my sets that I'm working on. And then there's my more higher cards, or my more valuable card box there. So that is what is going on here at this table. This shelf right here, right next to my sorting desk, are cards that I've yet to work on sorting. These are cards that will be up next in the sorting process. The top box, though, however, is a box of cards that I'm currently working on selling. This table right here are all cards that I am going to be selling. That is where I create all my sales pictures and photographs and get cards ready for sale. And all those cards that are on that table will be hopefully sold shortly. This table right here is primarily my studio table. This is a table that I have for prepping my videos, as well as anything that I need as far as actually making the video. So you have my one touches, top loaders, and soft sleeves there, and then there's a little bin with some tripods, some stands, and all the other things I need for making my videos. And then coming around to this side, this is what you all are familiar with. There's the brand new lights that I just got in earlier this week. I did also get a new tripod, as well as new microphones, so hopefully that improves the video quality. Going to this side, the wall that I have in the background in my videos, just to tell you a little bit about everything that's going on here. This first item is a certificate of authenticity with an unused game ticket from the Baltimore Orioles against the Minnesota Twins. This was on April 15th, 2000, and that was Cal Ripken's 3,000th hit game. It is an unused ticket from that game, a $14 ticket, but that is pretty cool. I like having that, and Cal Ripken was one of my favorite players back in the 80s and 90s, so that is why I have that. This is an actual dugout lineup card from the Minnesota Twins versus the Texas Rangers at Globe Life Park on July 7, 2016. So this card was actually hanging in the dugout during the game, and you can see the changes that the manager at the time made during the game and all the other information that you need during the game. There's a couple of Hall of Famers on here with Joe Mauer and Adrian Beltre, so that's kind of cool, and some other pretty well-known players as well that are, some of them are actually still playing. Max Kepler, you got Byron Buxton there, you got Prince Fielder, who's not playing anymore, but he was a stud during that time. Some of the other photographs I have, this is a really cool Harmon Killebrew photograph, autographed right there from 1958 when he was with the Washington Senators. This is actually, I think, his second year. 57 was his first year, and Harmon Killebrew is probably my favorite player of all time. He is the guy that I really looked up to when I was a kid, and I really wanted to collect his cards. I still am collecting his cards, honestly. Here's another Harmon Killebrew photograph when he was actually with the Twins. This actually looks like it was at spring training, because I don't know what kind of stands are in the background there. This is a Mickey Mantle. I've had this picture for probably 30 plus years. The signature isn't that great on the Mickey Mantle. It's done in ink pen, and it has always been that way. So it is not the best, but what are you going to do? It still is an authentic Mickey Mantle autographed picture. And then we got Jim Mudcat Grant, Frank Quillisi, there's Jackie Robinson, there's a Mark McGuire. So that is a look at the photographs I have in the background during my videos. Finally, on the studio wall, I actually just put these shelves up a couple of weeks ago because I wanted to kind of change the background for the videos a little bit. These bobbleheads up here are all from the 1991 World Series champion Minnesota Twins. So all these bobbleheads were players that played on that particular team, other than the Ron Gardenhire right there. But next to him we got Kirby Puckett, there's Shane Mack and Greg Gagne and Rick Aguilera and Scott Erickson and Chili Davis. So it is all of the players that played on that team. Then finally we have my autographed baseballs. These were actually in a closet in my basement, so I wanted to get them out of that closet and get them displayed somewhere where I can enjoy them a little bit more. Most of these are honestly going to be Minnesota Twins players. Most of these I actually had signed in person. There's a few that I didn't have signed in person, such as the Sammy Sosa that's right there. I did have the Eddie Matthews signed in person, the Tony Oliva, there's Paul Molitor. I think I actually bought that one. There's Rod Carew, again signed pretty poorly on that baseball. And then we have Tom Kelly, Kent Herbeck, and some other Twins players. There's Tim Laudner, Juan Berenguer. And then down here we have some other really cool baseballs. There's Ken Griffey Jr. There's a Hank Aaron, all-time home run king at that particular time. And then we have the little Kirby Puckett display with two of his bobbleheads, and then his autographed baseball in the middle. Kirby Puckett is, again, one of my favorite Twins, so I thought I would do a little display of the Kirby Pucketts. And then we have Harmon Killebrew. And then lastly, this is kind of a cool story. This is a Jose Canseco home run ball from the Metrodome. I think this was home run number 173. It's kind of a funny story. When I got that autograph for him after the game, I went down to where the players walk out, and at the security desk that was there, the only pen that I had was a pen that was attached to a clipboard. So I handed the whole clipboard to Jose Canseco when he was walking out after the game and had him sign the baseball right there with the pen that was attached to the clipboard. Pretty corny, but he was pretty good about it. So that is a really cool thing right there to have that baseball from Jose Canseco. So that is a look at the K-Cards card room / studio where I make my videos. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little behind the scenes peek at everything that is going on here in the K-Cards card room. What I call actually my little getaway oasis. Anyways, guys, that's all I got for you guys tonight. Thanks for checking out this video as well as all the other content on the channel. I appreciate it. Leave your comments in the comment section below what you think of my card room. Anything that you'd like or didn't like about it. I'd be very curious to hear what your guys' opinion is. So thanks, guys, again. Be safe out there and happy collecting. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.